I'm 38 years old, and I was a victim of physical and mental abuse by my stepfather growing up.
Domestic violence is a form of bullying, and like all forms of bullying, it does not discriminate. Please join us and lend your voice to the cause, because enough is enough.
It started when I was about 4 or 5, constantly being told that I was not good enough, I was stupid, I lied about everything, I couldn't be trusted.
Enough.
And a lot of times it was just, I would say all of it was for no reason. My stepfather used to wait until I fell asleep, and then he'd come into my room and he'd grab me by my ankles and pull me out of bed, and my back and my head and everything would rake over the footboard, and it would hurt, and why? I don't know, because I was sleeping, I don't know. It got worse as I got older. When I was about 7 or 8, he hit me so hard that it about broke my neck. And growing up, I always had issues. And granted, I was an active kid, so it just didn't help. So I recently had surgery to fix that, and it's amazing, I will say that. So 30 years of pain was just a little bit too much for me.
Enough.
I never felt good enough. I felt like I didn't deserve anything. If something bad happened to me, I felt that I deserved it. And a lot of times I contemplated either, running away to get away from everything, or killing myself, or even killing him, because I didn't know how to process it. And I know I was tired of it.
Enough.
When I was 16, I started fighting back, I guess, instead of just taking it, and that didn't go over well. So I ended up getting kicked out of the house.
Enough is enough.
It's really hard to deal with things, and you push people away, and you become a really good concealer of things. And a lot of times now when I speak about it, people are like, well, I didn't know any of that was going on. Yeah, because that I didn't want you to see that. So I kept it private, and I kept it hidden. And it's just, it's hard. You don't want anybody to see that part of you. But now that I've dealt with it, and now that it's out there, and it's what has made me who I am. I joined the military after high school. I'm now in law enforcement, and I try to help people. It's what has made me. It's my foundation, as sad as that is and as scary as that is, but it is.
Enough.
You're going to deal with self-esteem issues, and you push people away, and your relationships will never be normal. But the biggest thing, what I have to say, is once you speak up, you need to go get counseling. I went to 3 years of counseling in the military because someone noticed behavior in me, and I was having issues. I was married, and we were having problems, so we went to go talk to somebody, and the doctor said, you have a lot of issues that you need to deal with on a personal level before we can start working on your relationship. And of course, I didn't want to deal with it, but I did, and it helped a lot. I used to be the type of person that if I talked about anything about him or growing up or what he did to me, I would shut down, I would cry, I would physically get sick and hyperventilate, and it was just horrible. I was so terrified of him. And the biggest question I always heard, well, why didn't you just leave, or why didn't you tell someone? If you've never been in that situation, you're not going to understand the absolute fear and the hold that someone can have on you.
Enough with the apologies. Enough is enough.
you can't just get up and leave. That's why, women who are in abusive relationships, it takes them 7 times before they actually get up and get out. But it's not that easy. It's not.
There's nothing weaker than a person feeling that abuse is the answer to power. Enough.
Counseling is the biggest push that I can say. You're going to need help to work through your issues. And, that's really all I can advocate for is counseling. And I try to reach out to people and talk to them as much as I can about it.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, in the United States, it's estimated that 4.8 million women suffer domestic abuse and rapes, and 2.9 million men are victims of physical assault from their partners. And that's just reported cases. Victimization transcends the boundaries of gender and sexual orientation. Enough is enough.
Abuse is abuse, domestic or not. It's still violence. Help us take control back. Enough is enough.
Domestic violence often goes unreported due to fear and threatening behavior.
If both women and men do not come forward, then nobody can help them, possibly causing greater tragedies.
We need to protect children if they are involved.
If not, they will suffer and face the same fate.
How do we want our children to grow up?
How long do you want to live in fear?
Enough, enough, enough.
Enough, enough.
It wasn't just one moment, it was several moments over several years of abuse and berating, of the feeling of being lost, lonely, unloved, very little affection and no compassion except when they wanted something. And you can't help but figure, why can't I have what everybody else has that you see around you? Why me? Why am I a bad person? What did I do wrong? What did I do to deserve this? So many things run through your head of why? I know I'm not the only one. How many women, children, and men out there feel silenced? Feel these same feelings. And you never forget. And even those scars, whether visible or invisible, heal. They still don't ever really go away. And at the end of the day, all domestic violence victims really want is freedom.
If you feel lost or scared, you need to know that there are people there to support you, to help you. Domestic violence is an epidemic that has tragic and horrific consequences, everlasting consequences. But there are people here to help you. Enough is enough.
Domestic violence of any kind is never okay. Whether it's from a spouse, a family member, a friend, a significant other, it doesn't matter. It was one time, it won't happen again. Enough with the excuses. Get out, get help. Stand with us as we stand up against domestic violence.
Domestic violence is the most common kind of violence against women, but it happens to men as well. Too often, victims stay silent because they're afraid they won't get the help that they need. We have to be that help. We have to hold abusers accountable, and we have to say enough.
Domestic violence comes in many forms. It comes physical, verbal, sexual, mental. And here's the thing. Enough is enough is enough is enough is enough. Let's go with love is love is love is love is love.
Just because it happens behind closed doors doesn't make it acceptable. Enough. Domestic violence is never okay.
Stop bullying. Stop it. You don't have to do it. If you are bullying other people, it's because you're actually unhappy inside yourself. You're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting other people. So here's the thing. Reach out. There are people that can help you, that can help you change your life. You only get one life, so why not make it a better one? You are loved, and there are people who will help you remember that and realize it. And the whole world can be a better place if you take this note. Stop bullying. Enough's enough. You're loved. Believe it.
A house where you feel unsafe is not a home. If you are in an abusive situation and feel trapped, you are not alone. There is help. Let's end domestic violence.
I just wanted to reach out and remind everyone that domestic violence is not okay. It's abuse. We are all victims of it at some point in our lives, whether it be in your house or at school or your work or on the street or with your friends. I think that it's a huge part of our daily routines. A lot of the times, I mean, we all know somebody, if it's not ourselves, that has been abused, and all we can do is educate ourselves and know that we're not alone. I know it's a pretty dark place to be when you are being abused, because you don't think that people will understand, or there's anybody out there to listen to you, or you perhaps think that this is only happening to you, and I understand that, and I've been that person, and I know very well that that's not true. There's plenty of people out there to help you. There's a lot of campaigns and associations and therapists and friends and people that are willing to help you if you ask for help. Abuse is not part of our normal. It should never be part of our normal. No matter what kind of abuse, verbal, physical, sexual, mental, abuse is not okay. Enough is enough. We need to take a stand and help others that don't think that there's help and feel that they're alone. You're not. So yeah. So just that. It's just a reminder that that we're here for you. So yeah.
At the end of the day, there's no excuse. It is unacceptable behavior, no matter what. No excuses. Enough. Enough is enough. Yesterday was enough. Today is enough. Tomorrow is enough. It's time to come together and have a voice that you have, and you are not alone. We are here for you. We are there for you. We are always here to listen. We are there.
I'm an author and an advocate who speaks up against domestic violence. I once was a victim. I let a man convince me my life is worthless. Now, I'm a strong, confident survivor who's teaching other victims that their life matters too. It's time we say to domestic violence, enough is enough.
It's Michael Raymond James. Would you join us at Bullies Keep Out and help take a stand against domestic violence? Enough.
We can break the silence. Love shouldn't hurt.